Hello, fellow Merc Fam. The name I gave you guys. I hope you enjoyed that name because if you're a subscriber or even if you watch my videos, you're now a part of the Merc Fam, the new family of fans online on YouTube. There's multiple, so I decided I'd make you guys one. So in that way, y'all can be a part of something. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope y'all will smash that like button and try and help me reach my milestone of 100 subscribers. If you do, I really would appreciate it, and I'll give you guys a thank you video for that. Today's video is a top 10. Last time I did a top 10, I did a top 10 retro video games of all times. Well, now today's top 10 is going to be top 10 video games of 2017. I know we're in 2018 and there's a bunch of new games coming out that look really good. We got a Call of Duty coming out soon in November. We have yet to get confirmed information that it's going to be Black Ops 4, but I'll do a video probably next week. I'll do a video based on that if we get more information by then. But until then, I don't know what the new Call of Duty is going to be, but if it's going to be, it's already confirmed that it's going to be boots on the ground. And so this 3-year cycle is going to be boots on the ground. So we don't know what we're going to get, but let's hope for the best that it will turn out good. So far, Call of Duty World War II is a really, really absolute good game. So that did good, not in the beginning, but it did do good in later on after they fixed multiple bugs. But let's go ahead and jump into this top 10. So number 10 is Destiny 2, which was released for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and on September 6th of 2017 for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. And the following month, it was followed by a PC release. So 1 month later, after the release for the PlayStation and Xbox, we got a PC release. Destiny 2 is the sequel of the 2014 Destiny, which we all know that one you had to buy expansions to keep on playing. So it costs a lot of money to be able to keep up, to be able to play and all that. Otherwise, you couldn't if you didn't get the expansions or whatever it was. I don't exactly know because I did not get into the Destinies because of that. So it's, of course, the sequel. It's set in mythic science fiction world and all, just like the first Destiny. It's a futuristic game, so it's not like it's like there's normal movement. No, it's all different types of movement. It offers both a multiplayer and a story filled with missions, which is a online-only multiplayer game, but there's still a story where you can still do missions with people, or I think you can do it even by yourself. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't actually played the game, but it was put on the top 10 because when I looked up the information, it was one of the games that was on there, so I said, oh, what the heck, I haven't played the game, but people want to see the top 10 games and all, so I put it on there for y'all. But basically it offers two different types of ways to play, and activities are divided among those two ways. The first one is player versus environment, which is, I'm pretty sure, where multiple people can play together and do missions and all that for like the story. And then of course we got the player versus player, which allows you to kill other players online. Everybody knows a player versus player is if they played like Call of Duty or if they played different games that have a PvP. But Destiny 2, of course, it's an online-only game, which means there's no offline, which means if you lose internet or whatever, you can't play it because it's an online-only. But it was developed by Bungie, which developed that one, and then they used to develop the Halos, but then they gave that over to, I don't exactly remember the people who did it, but they kind of did that on Halo 5, but hopefully soon we get a better Halo, but that's not a part of this, so we're not going to get in depth with that. So number 9, and this one is surprising by how well it did. But number 9 is Horizon Zero Dawn, which was released for PlayStation 4 only. I don't know if they have a PC release or if they're going to plan on, but so far it's only PlayStation 4. The release date was on February 28th of 2017. It's an action role-playing game developed by Guerrilla Games and published by Sony Interactive Gaming, Entertainment Gaming, whatever. They do multiple things, but it was published by Sony. So the plot revolves around Aloy, which is your character. She's an archer and hunter that lives in a world overrun by machines. She was an outcast most of her life, but now she sets out to discover the dangers that kept her sheltered. But Horizon Zero Dawn is set in an open world environment. It allows for your character Aloy to explore while undertaking side quests and main story quests. Quests, doesn't matter, they're the same thing somewhat, but it allows her to do the two things, sides and main mission quests. The development actually began in 2011 for the game. I think after Killzone 3 is what it said, but ever since then they were developing the game, and it's surprisingly sold over 7 million copies since its release. And it was released early of 2017, so by now it probably sold over 8 million, close to 9 million copies if it's that good. I haven't played it, but if it's done that well, then that's a game I'm going to be doing soon. Once I get, of course, where I can fix up the problem I have with my gaming stuff right now, I will bring you guys some more video game stuff, and I might end up putting this in there, but it actually surprised me that this is number 9 and not a higher number because of how well it did at selling. Number 8, Mario and plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle for Nintendo Switch. The release date was 29th of August of 2017. Rabbids plus Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is a turn-based tactical RPG developed and published by Ubisoft. The game is a crossover of Nintendo's Mario and Ubisoft's Raving Rabbids, which is a cartoonish game. It looks like it'd be kind of fun. I haven't really looked much into it, but I've seen some commercials for it, and it looks at least decent. But it's a crossover of both of the franchises. The game features both single and co-op gameplay, which means you can either play by yourself or you can play with a friend, another player. But basically, the story has players controlling Mario, his friends, and a group of Rabbids that are dressed up in costumes that look like them, that look like Mario and his friends, and it's basically Mario's and his friends are dealing with a sudden invasion from the Rabbids, who accidentally misused a very powerful invention that has brought chaos to the Mushroom Kingdom, Mario's kingdom. So basically Mario has to fight off the Rabbids and get rid of them. That's basically what it's meaning. And get rid of and save the day, pretty much, like in all the Mario games that he saves the day. But that was number 8, which I don't know how well it did because I didn't get the information for it. But I did get to pretty good for it to be number 8. But I don't honestly think it did well, but I'm not sure. I haven't played it, I haven't seen reviews, nothing. I just find the information, I put it down as it is, and whatever makes the list, makes the list. Whatever doesn't. Which there's a lot of games that haven't made it onto this list that should have made it on, and some that shouldn't have. Not all games didn't deserve a spot because all games are, like, at least majority of them are decent. So I'm not judging based on this. I'm just giving off information that I found and wrote down. So number 7 is Cuphead, which is for the Xbox One and PC. Its release date was on the 29th of September of 2017. Basically, the game, the way it's played, it's a run and gun indie video game developed and published by Studio MDHR. Basically, you control there's two characters. There's Cuphead and there's his brother Mugman. 1 to 2 players fight a series of bosses in order to repay a debt to the devil. They owe a debt to the devil, so they have to fight things to pay it off. And all. I don't know how it ended or what happens, but basically you gotta repay the devil for something. Basically, Cuphead was praised for its art style, and it was noted for its challenging difficulty. Basically, it's one of the hardest games, not the most hardest, but one of them. But basically, it was noted for that. But after all of that, being noted for its challenging difficulty, it was surprisingly both a critical and commercial success, selling over 2 million copies by the end of 2017, which we're talking about September of 2017. That's close to the end of 2017. All you got is October, November, and December. So in 3 months, it sold over 2 copies, which is surprising why it made number 7. But honestly, it surprised me, as in it should have been a higher list. But it's not. It's number 7. That's what they had it as. So we're gonna keep it as that. So number 6 is PUBG, Player Unknown Battlegrounds. If you've ever played Fortnite, then it's mostly like Fortnite. Which honestly, Fortnite's good. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not paid to tell people about it, but it's right now Fortnite Battle Royale is a free to play game mode, and it's really fun. And if y'all do it and y'all get on the Xbox One, then you can friend me and we can play some together. But like I said, I'm not sponsored by them, so I'm not going to say too much about it, because since I'm not sponsored, I don't want to give too much information about it. But if I do get sponsored or whatever later on, then I will start talking about the Fortnite or whatever. Basically, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds it was released fully on December 20th of 2017 for the PC, but about 1 week and 1 day before that, they brought it out for the Xbox One, but they put it in game preview, which basically means it's not fully done. They still have to fix some things, but it means that players still can play it, but they're going to experience a bunch of lags. They're going to experience bad graphics, a lot of bad things in it, but it still allows people to play it. Practically like how PCs bring out alphas for games, and then they bring out the betas. Practically a game preview on the console is basically kind of like a beta or an alpha. It's not fully released. Well, it's still a game where you can buy it all for like I think $30 at like Walmart or some place like that. But it still has a lot of stuff you'll be experiencing, lagging, bad graphics, etc. A lot of stuff. But it's not fully finished. It's still being fixed and developed. They're still going to add things in and all that. But for full release, there's not really a time date, but there's a prediction by me that it will be between 2018 and 2019, which is kind of what they were saying they wanted to do. But as of now, just sometime between 2018 and 2019, or maybe 2020, who knows, the full release, the full game should be set up where people can fully play and not have to experience bad graphics or whatever, because it looks like a fun game. But right now, I'm just not going to play it on the Xbox One until it becomes a little bit better. Basically, it's a multiplayer-only battle royale. So you can either team up or you can do it solo, but you're playing against 99 other players. So basically, the setting of the game is 100 players parachute it looks like an AC-130. They parachute from it onto an island, and they have to scavenge for food and items such as not food, weapons and items such as health and other things. But they have to scavenge for that, and they must fight to the death to win. No, while the safe zone where they're supposed to be in actually decreases in size as over time as time goes on. It will decrease, and you have to be inside, because if you're not, it will end up killing you, or slowly killing you. It will still give you a chance to get back into the circle, but you will slowly lose health. So you gotta find health and like medkits and bandages and all that in order to keep yourself alive if you end up getting hurt by the storm, by the little being outside the safe zone. But basically, the last player or team to be standing ends up winning. So basically, you want to be the last person alive. If you're the last person alive, then you win. So honestly, PUBG, once it becomes better, I will be playing that on the Xbox One. But as of now, I might get it for the PC, but who knows. So number 5, Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Basically, the release date was October 27th of 2017, developed by Machine Games and published by Bethesda Softworks. The game is the 8th installment of the Wolfenstein series, and it's set in a alternate history where the Nazis have won World War II. Basically, it's a sequel to the 2014 Wolfenstein: The New Order, which you haven't. If you've played it, then you know the Wolfenstein: The New Order, and you kind of understand the story mode, the story and all for it. But if you don't know, go check it out, play it, or even watch some videos of it, so that way you know. Because if you play Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, you haven't played the other ones before it, then you won't understand the story plots. Basically, it's set in alternate history, 1961. Nazis won World War II, but William, your character, the story revolves around this guy named William B.J. Blazkowicz, and he's hell-bent on getting rid of the Nazi regime in America, because they took over America after they won, because America surrendered. So they ended up taking over America, and it's weird. You would have to check it out to see what it looks like, but he's basically just fighting against the Nazi regime in America to get back America and get rid of the Nazis. Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus is an action-adventure-based first-person shooter game. So there's a lot of stuff you can do. It's not open world, but it's still an action-adventure. So you still have a lot of stuff you can do. So yeah, that made number 5, which honestly, some of the games surprised me at what number they were. Wolfenstein should have been a lower number, and then like Horizon Zero Dawn should have taken 5th place, but who knows? I'm just the person who gives off the information for it. Well, number 4 is Call of Duty World War II. Call of Duty World War II is the 14th installment into the Call of Duty series. It was released on November 3rd of 2017, developed by Sledgehammer and published by Activision. Everybody knows who Sledgehammer is because they were the ones who brought out the first ever futuristic game. 2017 was their cycle because Sledgehammer, Treyarch, and Infinity Ward are on a 3-year cycle, which means like they have a year to get their game released and all that. But then after that they have plenty of time, like 2 years, to come up with the next Call of Duty for their end of the cycle. But this cycle is, because of Call of Duty being the first game in this 3-year cycle, it's a modern, like, boots on the ground. It's not a modern game because it's set in World War II, but it's boots on the ground. So this 3-year cycle is going to be boots on the ground. At least that's what was confirmed. But the last 3-year cycle was, of course, futuristic movements, which is something we didn't need back then. We still needed future for modern boots on the ground type things, and then slowly get into it, because we were thrown completely in the deep end of the futuristic movements. We didn't know exactly what to expect with that stuff, but we got used to it. But now we're all, I'm a part of the percentage that is happy that we have boots on the ground again. But basically, it's 14th installment of the Call of Duty series, and the first title in this series since 2008 that has been set back primarily into World War II, which means since 2008 we haven't seen a World War II game. Since the last one we saw was World at War, which was the 2008 one, but since then we have not had it. We've had like a little bit of an older game, which was the first Black Ops, and then some of this gameplay in Black Ops 2, but those were like boots on the ground, but they weren't World War II. Black Ops 1 was like Vietnam era, and then Black Ops 2 was like future and then back then, but it didn't have the futuristic movements. But basically, it's since 2008 was World at War. That was the last World War II game we saw. But the game's campaign is set in the European theater, and it revolves around the 1st Infantry Division and their fight across the Western Front. And it's mainly set in the historical events of Operation Overlord. But Call of Duty World War II offers all 3 game modes: campaign, multiplayer, and zombies, which majority of people love zombies. Zombies was one game mode that we were all happy to see into Call of Duty. But it wasn't like Exo Zombies or whatever that. No, it's actually a pretty good storyline or whatever. It's like the Ninth Reich, the last type of Reich for the Nazis, but it was a test. But they turned people into zombies and all that. But it's really good. But if you want to go check out it, you can. But so far, it to me actually was good. But they offer also multiplayer like the other ones do. And in multiplayer, they have up to like 9 or 10 maps that aren't seen in the campaign. And they also have a social hub called Headquarters, which is where you can go get supply drops, orders from like command to like different challenges you have to do to like get certain things. Like a lot of them give you supply drops if you complete them. Some give you like XP. Some will give you like the scavenge points or whatever that you can use to get better weapons. But basically, that's Call of Duty World War II, it's a really good game, and Sledgehammer, to me, has redeemed themselves from Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. But number 3 is Super Mario Odyssey, which is for the Nintendo Switch. The release date was on October 27th of 2017. It was developed and published by Nintendo. Super Mario Odyssey is a 3D platform game. It's an open world 3D platform game. It was because a lot of the Marios were linear games, but this one has returned to open world environment. But basically, a story follows Mario and a spirit called Cappy that possesses Mario's hat and allows Mario to take control of other characters and objects as they set out on a journey across various worlds to save Princess Peach from Mario's nemesis, which is Bowser, who is actually hell-bent on forcing Princess Peach to marry him. Basically, that's what happens in most games. He captures Princess Peach and all that, and then Mario has to go save the day. But, of course, Mario has to go save the day again with his possessed hat. Honestly, that sounds weird to me, but that's how the game plot is. So, I'm not going to say anything bad against it, but basically it's weird. Number 2, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch, released in March 3rd of 2017. It was an action-adventure game developed and published by Nintendo. The story follows Link, who awakens from a 100-year slumber, to a mysterious voice that guides him to defeat Calamity Ganon before he can destroy the Kingdom of Hyrule, or Hyrule, or however you say it. But basically, Breath of the Wild is played in an open world environment, which players are allowed to explore at their own pace, which means you don't have to go fast, or you can go slow if you want to explore, get multiple items or whatever. But basically, Link, your character, can collect items such as weapons, armor, and food with multiple uses. Players can complete side quests and main quests, which can be given. The side quests are given by non-playable characters, but also the non-playable characters can give advice. But Breath of the Wild is a single-player only game, which means there's no multiplayer, only one player. And last but not least, my favorite game. I didn't put it on this list as number one just because of it. No, I put it on because that was number one. But honestly, to me, it's my favorite game. But basically, number one, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. You guys have seen me play some of the gameplays, put some walkthroughs on my channel, all the way up until close to I think past part 3. But basically, it was released on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Released March 7th of 2017. It was developed by Ubisoft Paris, published by Ubisoft. It was developed by their Paris branch, but it was published by Ubisoft. Ghost Recon Wildlands is the 10th installment into the Ghost Recon series, which previous ones were like futuristic, not with futuristic movement, but it was like a futuristic setting, but this one is back into a modern day era. But basically, the story is set in Bolivia, which is not, it's a legit country and all that, Bolivia. It's not fictional or whatever, but basically where you and 3 other special forces operators called Ghosts are brought in to aid in an operation to dismantle and take down the Santa Blanca cartel and their leader. But basically the player chooses what they want their ghost to look like and choose how they want to operate to take down the cartel. Basically what weapons they want to use, if they want to do stealth, if they want to do full-on assault, all of that stuff. But basically, Ghost Recon Wildlands offers both single player and co-op for the story, which means you can go on and play with people, or you can play with the bots, the AIs they have. Which, honestly, being a Ghost Recon fan, I say play with other players because they do better than the actual AIs. Because sometimes AIs will mess up where they don't do anything. They won't come revive you, won't do any of that stuff. So basically, you choose how you want to play. It's your style. It's not like they tell you a certain way to play like the previous ones. No, you choose your weapons. If you want to do sniper, shotgun, SMG, or assault. Personally, I do assault and sniper, as you guys have seen. But basically, you choose how you play. But it also brought in a PvP game mode called Ghost War. Basically, you go and kill other players. Kind of how... It's set up basically like how Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege is, where you have like 4 or 5 players and you only have 1 life. And players can go revive you in Ghost Recon Wildlands, but basically you have to rather kill them, or there's some game modes that are like extraction, where you have to extract a VIP from being a hostage, or they have upload, which you go hack into this computer, and if you hack into it and successfully do it, then your team wins that round. But basically it's the best of 3, which means if you win twice, then it's over with. 2 rounds are done. But if you win and then the other team wins, there's a third time, but the team to score at least two matches is the winner. But basically, Ghost Recon Wildlands has 4 different environments: mountains, forests, salt flats, and deserts. But basically, this game, I honestly am happy that it's number 1. If you think it should have been it should have been some other number, go ahead and comment it down below. If you think a game should have been better or worse ratings or whatever on the numbers of the top 10, comment that or whatever. And if you enjoyed this video, please like that, and please smash that like button. And I would really appreciate if you guys help me make my milestone goal of 100 subscribers before the end of this year. So if you want to, you can share this video or whatever with your friends or family. It would really I would really appreciate if we can hit the 100 subscriber milestone, because this is your guys' milestone, because the more the more views I get and all that, the more videos I can do for you guys and all. But if you don't want to do it, it's no big deal. I'm not gonna fuss over it, but I would really appreciate it if y'all do help me out with that. Basically, we're about to the end of this video. I want to take the next few seconds to thank you guys and all, and tell you guys that this Saturday, be expecting a podcast. If I can't get it to do more than 30 minutes, then I will put it as a live stream. But I am going to do a podcast, and I am going to be talking about things in life. If y'all want to see a certain podcast for the next episode, then comment what you want to see below, or wait until the podcast and then comment on that one. But I am going to do a podcast this Saturday. I might have people to be doing it with me, or if not, I'll just do it by myself. But I think I should start the thing. But if so, I'm going to do it on this phone. But anyways, this is the end of the video. I do appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much. And if not already, subscribe and press